A very good morning, it's Fabio and welcome back to another daily market update. EURUSD has continued to consolidate yesterday, but there were still very nice long opportunities to be made on yesterday's price action throughout the New York session after the European Central Bank mentioned that people who are looking for rate cuts are going to be facing an uphill battle. So these hawkish remarks overall pushed EURUSD up higher, as when a central bank talks about raising interest rates, so let's call it IR, this can be seen as bullish for that specific currency. So then when, let's say, the central bank talks about not lowering interest rates, because that's what they were talking about, they are not going to lower interest rates, that automatically means that people assume that they're going to be raising interest rates, which is bullish for a currency, because the more return or the higher the interest rate, the more attractive the currency becomes overall. Now, this pushed EURUSD up higher throughout the New York session yesterday. A very good example of a trade that could have been taken here was on the overall 15-minute swing structure, where here we had a break of structure. This was the swing low, this was the swing high, and the market retraced in towards this area of demand over here, the sell for the buy, and I had this blue dotted line as a liquidity low positioned right above it. So this was the overall price action of yesterday. For now, we've been moving a little bit slower, but let's dive into the daily and then in towards the 4-hour, etc. So what we can see here from a daily perspective, first of all, is that the overall market structure still remains very bullish. Overall, we have a swing low positioned over here, swing high positioned over here. So after this break of structure, obviously you're going to be looking for potential retracement to occur. Well, that retracement has pretty much now happened in towards an area of daily demand. Now, this is an area of daily demand due to the fact that it is a sell before a big buy up. Fractal low, fractal high, also confirming the overall market structure is bullish. Again, there are two forms of market structure. We have the swing structure and we have the fractal structure. The overall swing structure is this big push up. The overall fractal structure is from this low in towards this high. If you want to use this same indicators myself, link in the description of this video. Now, what we're looking for obviously is this overall sub for the buy, the overall fractal structure, and with the overall, let's say, bullish momentum that we've had, we want to be continuously looking for longs until we see a real, let's say, genuine market structure shift in the form of, let's say, a daily change of character. Well, that would be, for example, a break of the fractal low after coming into a higher time frame area of interest. Now, looking here at the weekly time frame for myself, I don't really see the perfect area of interest. What I'm mainly looking at is this overall liquidity high that we have positioned over here. So this is kind of like the first overall descending high that we've had, or I'm going to be looking at this overall buy before the sell over here to potentially push the market down lower. That for me would be ideal. Yes, this over here is somewhat of an area of interest that we have due to the fact as well that the overall high of this supply zone took out the high here to its left and then sold off. Therefore, this is a liquidation supply zone and a lot stronger than normal supply zones. That's also why we saw the overall push down. But you can see that here also on a weekly time frame that the overall weekly demand and the overall weekly fractal remain bullish. Therefore, longs still hold my overall preference. Looking here at the daily time frame, an overall pullback has been made. Yes, again, preferably you would want to see a retracement back down in towards a 0.5 fib, for example, over here. But when the market is extremely bullish, that does not necessarily need to happen. Now, looking at the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we have bullish swing market structure. So this here is the swing low, and then above over here we have the swing high, which is this overall swing high over here. The market retraced back down into discount pricing, and then after a double 4-hour change of character, which took place over here and over here, the overall market continued to rally up higher. So I'm still interested in looking for EURUSD longs based on that higher time frame analysis. Now here on the 4-hour time frame, the market structure is getting a little bit messier due to the fact that we've now seen a bullish change of character with yesterday's news spike. However, again, it is a news spike, so I would preferably want to see that get taken out in the near future. The monthly open for now is acting as a natural barrier of resistance. Let's see what the market does today. Preferably, I would see the 4-hour give us one more drive down and then get like another 4-hour change of character and then look for longs again, or I'll be keeping an eye on the 1-hour time frame. The 1-hour time frame for now remains bullish, and that means that we can still look for potential long opportunities despite that 4-hour being fractal bearish, because that's just the only time frame that is bearish. But overall, here we have an area of demand. For the rest, we have, let's say, the overall swing structure between this low and this high. This is not a break of structure due to it not being a candle close. We retrace into 1-hour demand, and then from there you want to look for the further upside. For now, the overall 1-hour fractal remains bullish as well. We're inside a 1-hour demand zone. It's not the strongest demand zone, but it is a valid demand zone. So let's see now what happens, because on the 15-minute time frame, what you can clearly see here is that we have the overall push down, pull back, push down, pull back, push down, and I'm now looking for the next push up. So for now, this seems more like a liquidity grab to fuel a next leg down, maybe take out equal lows. But I'll be looking for longs only once we really see like a strong 1 hour candle close above that high there. Then I'll look for longs in towards the upside. But for now, not yet looking to get in too aggressively, just because the 4 hour fractal shifted bearish as well. And preferably, I always want to trade in line with the 4 hour fractal. So a little bit complicated price action. But for myself, I'll be happy to take a more aggressive EURUSD long if we see like a strong candle close like this. Then I'll look at the 15-minute time frame to get in. Otherwise, just wait for the 4 hour fractal to break down lower again. Maybe give us another change of character down, and then bring us some demand to then look for longs once again. So that's EURUSD. Going into the dollar index, we can see that the dollar index, by the way, has started to retrace a bit. On the 4 hour time frame, we've broken the 4 hour fractal. That means now that this here is your area of demand that potentially could start pushing the market up higher again. Looking here at the daily time frame, I'm not a big fan of the overall high time frame on the dollar index, but looking here at the weekly and then the daily, on the weekly time frame, we're still inside a weekly area of supply. And also, if you zoom out a little bit more and you look at the overall kind of like channel that we're in, and this becomes a little bit more clear on the monthly, you can see that we're kind of like sitting at this or inside of this higher time frame channel, which would potentially have, or which has the potential to push the market up higher. Also, from a seasonality perspective index or seasonality index perspective, you can look this up online. The dollar is also most of the times becomes bullish in towards August, so keep an eye on that. But for now, the weekly time frame still remains within this area of supply. Once we break that weekly fractal high, it will become a lot easier to start longing the dollar. For now, the dollar here on the daily time frame also remains bearish. There is still some potential to push back up a little bit higher. So let's see if the 4 hour time frame wants to push up higher from this area of demand. I do see some potential for some short-term longs here on the dollar index to potentially, let's say, retrace up a little bit higher. So let's keep an eye on that, especially in towards this supply zone at minimum. So let's see if we can kind of like trade the overall 4 hour bullish fractal a little bit up higher for now as well. Back up into maybe, let's say, this daily imbalanced candle positioned over here. So that could give us maybe some short-term longs based on the daily supply zone, which is positioned over here. And then as well, if you look at the daily premium versus discount on fractal structure, 0.5 fib is also up above over here. So that also would make sense then to look for some short-term longs based on what we have here for our fractal structure-wise. So with that said, let's go into AUD/USD and GBPUSD. So AUD/USD has started to sell off, back down lower. Looking at this, there is still potential for it to push a little bit lower. Overall, in towards 0.5 fib. So daily fractal is bullish. Then we look at the 4 hour. 4 hour fractal at the moment is bearish. I'm looking for some short-term shorts here on AUD/USD, with this being, let's say, the overall supply zone. So let's see if this can push down lower, and I'll keep an eye on the 1 hour time frame for some good entries. So yeah, looking for some short-term shorts here on AU, especially as we still have some ascending lows here to take out, and we still have this demand zone open, but this demand zone is not very strong due to the fact that this low didn't take out this low over here. If that low would have taken it out, then this would have been a far stronger area of demand from where I would be happy to go long once price reaches it. Now, once price, or if price reaches that zone, I'll just be very conservative. Going into GBPUSD, we can see that GU itself has started to push down lower as expected from yesterday's market outlook. You guys know I had this arrow drawn on, so I'm looking still for further GBPUSD shorts from that daily area of supply. 4 hour time frame wise, we're near the 4 hour fractal. This is a strong area of demand, so do be cautious with looking for shorts at the moment. The higher probability shorts will come once the 4 hour fractal breaks, and then I'll start to aggressively scale into positions to take out these ascending lows. So that's what I have for GU. I'm personally not going to be looking for longs inside of that area of demand, just because of the fact that the daily fractal is bearish, and the overall market structure that we have on GU for me is also bearish, with the ascending channel coming into a weekly liquidity high. And then obviously also daily supply here, and now I'm just looking for the 4 hour confirmation that we want to head down lower by looking at the 4 hour change of character as well. So that's what I have for GBPUSD. Then going into NZD USD, we can see that NU is similar to AU. However, it is a little bit more bullish in the sense that you can see that we've made a retracement into discount. We're now having a change of character here on the internal daily. So that means that this imbalance over here could potentially push the market up higher again. So I'll be looking for some more longs on NZD USD once the fractals shift bullish again. NU has the same as AU, where we still have these ascending lows. That makes me a little bit worried in the fact, or in the sense that, yes, you could look for longs from that area of demand, but just keep in mind that the liquidation has not yet taken place. So if you were to long from that area of demand, I would place a safer stop loss or wait for manipulation if you want to have more certainty, but maybe you will then miss the opportunity. The dollar yen, dollar Swiss, and of course gold. So dollar yen itself pushed up higher, in line with the overall daily supply or demand zone, excuse me. So we have here a daily area of demand, which is a sell for a buy, and as you can see, the daily fractal is bullish as well. So going then into the 4 hour, or by the way, showing you guys the daily time frame, look at this because we have the premium versus discount, and you can see again that the market pretty much retraces in towards the 0.5 fib, which is positioned over here. So that's interesting to see. Again, daily fractal still bullish. That is currently pushing the market up higher. Keep an eye on the 4 hour time frame. On the 4 hour time frame, what happened? You can clearly see the 4 hour fractal break happened, and then we got a wick tap, and we pushed straight back out again. So interesting price action overall. It is looking bullish as of now here on the 4 hour time frame. So you could continue to look for those longs as long as the daily fractal remains bullish. But once this daily fractal shifts bearish, I'll be looking for some further shorts. Potentially, but yeah, longs for now are looking good based on the daily fractal and the 4 hour fractal. Then going into dollar Swiss, we can see that dollar Swiss itself made a retracement up higher yesterday with that bullish dollar. Overall, still a clean pair. Based here on the daily time frame, we can still see momentum is down, daily fractal high, daily fractal low, meaning we are daily bearish fractal wise. Overall, we made a retracement into premium pricing. Go into the 4 hour time frame, and the 4 hour is just retracing up higher, which is perfectly normal. Overall, you now want to be keeping an eye obviously on this supply zone, which again gave an initial bearish reaction. If the 4 hour fractal low here breaks, then you could look at some shorts again to trade it back down towards this low over here. If it does push up higher, just again wait for the 4 hour fractal to shift. As long as the daily fractal remains bearish, you're pretty much good to short. Then, of course, last of all, we have gold. I'll go into the MGC chart. So overall, gold has pushed down lower. I get some ignorant comments a lot of the times about saying, Fabio, you're looking for longs, or you say buy gold now, or buy gold when market is trading here. But obviously, if you use two brain cells, then you can understand that you're always going to be waiting for bullish confirmation. It's what I preach in every single video that I ever made. So wait for the confirmation to happen within the area of daily demand instead of just being ignorant. So yeah, overall, the daily fractal structure remains bullish. Fractal high break, fractal low. As long as the fractal low is respected, I'll be looking for longs. We're now at the weekly open, which is a natural area of support and resistance. So from a daily time frame wise, it makes sense to look for longs. Now here on the 4 hour time frame, you can clearly see that we have somewhat of a 4 hour demand zone. Well, that caused the initial push up. However, I'm now waiting for the 4 hour fractal to happen. So now I want to sweep of this low. Then this here becomes the 4 hour fractal high. Then if the 4 hour fractal high breaks, then you have a strong area of demand, which you can then start to buy. As simple as that, guys. So again, wait for that to happen, and then the high probability longs on gold will come into play. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day. Any questions? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be active inside Discord as always, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. See you guys and have a great weekend.